Greetings all! Today, we will be examining the common normal-type Pokemon Sentret, the Scout Pokémon, and its uncommon evolution Furret, the Long Body Pokémon. While they might not come off as the most capable of fighters, the members of the Sentret family are sly beasts that can definitely use their quick reflexes and strange body forms to make a break for it and ensure that few are able to follow them to their homes. Sentret possess rounded body forms covered mostly in dark brown fur, though there is a white ring pattern on their belly, and their long, bulbous but sturdy tail has a series of 3 dark black stripes on it. They have a pair of 3-toed feet and a tiny pair of 3-fingered hands, with black ears with red insides and a small mouth, complemented by their small, beady black eyes. Their evolved form, Furret, have a long, narrow body with beige and dark brown stripes along their form, with the same general limb structure, though with larger arms now. They still retain their black eyes with a small mouth, but their ears are smaller and more pointed in this form, and they have a series of 3 brown cheek markings on each side of their face, granting them an exceptionally adorable look. The members of the Sentret family are generally noted for not being the strongest of fighters, but in this case, that is not automatically a huge problem for them, as they live fairly simple lives and don't really try to put themselves into the midst of any hostile activity. If anything, their entire lifestyle is designed around avoiding it, and they are generally quite skittish as a result. At a young age, these creatures are highly gregarious and do their best to avoid ever being completely alone, finding greater safety in the wild in numbers. This is programmed into them behaviorally as well, so if they are separated from their own kind at a young age, they can have great difficulty sleeping and will generally be unable to do so unless they know they are safe. This transitions into a much more confident and independent lifestyle as they age and evolve, but this can still make it somewhat difficult to raise them early on. Thankfully, they evolve at a fairly young age, so this is not an issue that will last for very long under most circumstances. They are thankfully gifted in their speed, as they can quickly scurry away and retreat to a safe location the moment they feel they are under attack or even threatened, and it can take a great deal of effort to get them to come back out by force. The fact that they do this on a constant basis, as well as their exceptional eyesight and ability to spot things coming towards them from a great distance away, is what allows these creatures to possess the runaway and keen eye abilities as base abilities, while those that are also highly curious and are able to use their speed to quickly check the person of an opponent can also possess the frisk ability as a hidden ability. As far as their stats go, in the case of Furret, these creatures' focus on evasion is duly reflected in their stats, as for the most part, they underperform in everything and don't have much going for them. The only thing that is above average for a fully evolved normal-type Pokemon is their base speed stat, and while that might give them a slight edge in battle, their speed stat is no more greater than that of a Poliwag in the water, so they'll often have to rely on their mild offenses to make the most impact in a fight, if they can't use their unique mix of techniques to level the playing field at least somewhat in battle. Because of their skittish nature, Sentret in groups will spend the time they are not eating or sleeping looking out over their habitat, using their large, strong tails to hoist their light bodies up into the air so they can get a better view over bushes and similar plant forms. They will keep watch diligently and take turns between posts with other Sentret, and if they spot something that looks like a potential threat, they will emit a loud screech and slam their tail on the ground harshly to alert others of their kind to hide until the threat has passed or is deemed to just be a false alarm. This gives them the chance to hide from predators like Ekans that can otherwise use tall grass as a way of disguising their form until they can strike. The fact that one member in a group is always kept awake even in the night while the rest sleep helps to ensure that their colony as a whole is safe from attack, and these creatures seem to have no problem doing so as part of their natural life cycle. This should be noted by trainers when first capturing one of these mammals, as they can become insomniacs if they are not kept in a state where they feel completely safe from attack, and may require them to live in the presence of other wild Sentret until they evolve to help quell this fear if their paranoia is particularly high. At the very least, outside of this, Sentret are very calm-natured despite their high-strung paranoia issues and are easy to take care of, making them a perfect choice of a partner for those just starting out on their Pokemon journey. When Sentret evolve into Furret, their EV yield shifts from 1 in attack to 2 in speed, and their fear of others vanishes almost completely as a consequence of the bodily trickery they become capable of after evolving. The sleek and narrow bodies of these creatures are beneficial to them for 2 important reasons. For one thing, because of the long length of their body hairs, it is visually impossible to tell exactly where the fur of these creatures ends and where their bodies begin, their tail fur being so long and luxurious that it is almost impossible to see where it actually just becomes a mat of hair from their main body, making it easy for these creatures to escape if their opponents or predators aim for their tail when attacking. In addition, because of how narrow their body forms are, even with their puffy fur, these creatures are able to dig burrows in the ground that only they are typically slim enough to get into, and can thus use their burrows as safety areas where they can dive to in order to avoid attack, and use as a way of keeping predators from reaching them, as their actual bodies are much thinner than their frames might otherwise suggest. The fact that they can get access to the agility technique after evolving only serves to make them that much harder to track and pin down despite the short length of their legs, making them surprisingly adept at avoiding capture and good at attacking and eating the rattata they often prey upon for sustenance. Even if you are not impressed with their battle capabilities, these creatures are adored for how warm their fur is, being an excellent conductor of heat, and are warm enough that they can incubate their eggs readily and help their young fall asleep just by wrapping their body around them, and thus make great scarves for those looking for a little help on a cold day. As such, even if it takes a while for them to get access to moves like Slam and Sucker Punch to make the most of their agility, these creatures are definitely fun to have around and can be wonderful pets for those that aren't afraid of getting a bit of hair in their face with every close interaction. While they might be better suited for running than they are fighting, the members of the Sentret family are fun creatures to have around for their playful natures and friendly disposition. Their paranoia can potentially make them a bit of a pain to raise until they evolve, but this usually won't take so long, and they can definitely use some interesting moves to make the most of what little power and technique they have going for them. Just make sure that you make yourself a friendly presence to them, and don't give them a reason to run. Sentret might not do anything to make themselves a ready target, but if you try to follow a Furret into its home, then you might find yourself in quite the precarious position if you try to enter, only to get your head or part of your body stuck in their nest. Thank you all for watching this video. It is always an honor to be able to speak with you all on the subject of Pokemon in a way that brings me great joy and happiness in my work. If you would like to keep tabs on past and future work, click that subscribe button, check out my work on DeviantArt, and don't be shy about following me on Twitter, where you can find pertinent announcements on upcoming work before it is officially posted. Links to both can be found in the video description. If you would like to support my work and help Miguel and I continue to produce more content for you and improve upon our presentation, please visit us at my Patreon page, which you can also find a link to in the video description.
Yep, no.
With that, I thank you for watching and I wish you well.